All right. Well, over 6 decades in music, Jimmy Ryan has collaborated with many greats such as Elton John, Paul McCartney, and Rod Stewart. He also was the vocalist and guitarist in the classic rock group The Hitmen. Well, Jimmy Ryan joins us to chat about his new book, Behind, Autobiography of a Musical Shapeshifter.
Jimmy, my goodness, you've done it all. What a pleasure to see you today.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thank you.
Well, I was reading about you and I was super impressed. I'm a singer, also kind of a musician here. So I was just blown away. 6 decades of performing and touring, working with so many incredible artists. What has that journey been like for you?
It has been the roller coaster from hell. It looks good, and behind me are all the, the gold watches, so to speak, the trophies. It has, overall, it's been absolutely fantastic. I've gotten to meet people that I never in a million years would have met, incredible creative people, fantastic people. And, I've been in the ditches a couple of times too, more than a couple of times. So it's with a musician, with a freelance person like me, only the most blessed in the world don't find the downs. And if you watch Bohemian Rhapsody and Rocket Man, even the top tier hits the ditches.
Well, it is one tough industry, and the fact that you've been in it as long as you have and been successful through the ups and the downs says a lot about not just your talent, but your devotion. Well, look, out of all of that time spent in the industry, you now have a book where you kind of bring it all in. It's called Behind, Autobiography of a Musical Shapeshifter. Tell me about this book and the inspiration behind it.
Well, the inspiration is the last thing you would think. My son is an executive at Atlantic Records, and I always go see him when I'm in New York, when I'm performing there. And we get together, and we have dinner and stuff like that. And he always asked me, so what was it like? He asked me kind of the same question you did. And he said, tell me a story. And this last time, it was a year and a half ago last time, he asked that same question. And he said, wait a minute. Dad, you got to write a book. And I said, I've never written a book. Come on. And he said, no, I'm telling you, all you got to do is just write down what you told me, and that'll be it. And I thought about it. I said, it's the pandemic. The band split up. There's nothing else going on. Why not give it a shot? So that was the inspiration. I just looked at my calendars. I kept very, very good calendars all the way back. And all I had to do was look at the dates and what I did on that day, and it all came back. Everything that I did on those days came back, and I included it. And some of the stories are tragic. Some of them are absolutely roll on the floor funny. And that's what the book is. It's a very entertaining, easy read.
Yeah, well, I would imagine there's a little bit of everything in that book. Okay, let's talk about what people who read it will learn from this book. What do you think is the overall, what do you think they'll take from it?
You'll learn not to worship the life of superstars.
Okay.
It's not what you think. And I mean, and again, I cite those two movies because they gave you some idea what, Elton John, who was one of the greatest stars of our generation, he did not have an easy time. He didn't have an easy time at home, and he didn't have an easy time when he was at the top. And I've met 10, 20 huge stars that all have very similar stories. So what they're going to learn is it's okay being who you are. You don't have to be up at the top of the castle. It's not as great as you think it is.
Yeah, everything comes with a price, but you've worked with incredible artists. I mean, we're talking Rod Stewart, Carly Simon. You've also worked with Elton John and Sir Paul McCartney. You got to tell me what that was like, and which one was your favorite collaboration?
Well, my favorite collaboration was Carly, but the working with Paul was so left field, it was ridiculous. We were doing a vocal on a song called Night Owl for Carly's No Secrets album. That's the album that You're So Vain is on. And I was out there with Bonnie Bramlett of Delaney Bonnie, Carly, Doris Troy, and we weren't getting the background vocals. It wasn't that great. And our producer kept saying, try it again, try it again. And then he stopped, and we didn't hear him. And we looked at each other, did we get it that time? He hasn't said anything. Then we hear this voice. I understand you're having a bit of trouble out there. You want a little help? And I said, I know that voice. And I kind of peered around the corner of the baffle that was between us and the control. It was Paul McCartney. And he just wandered out. He was working in the studio next door. He just wandered out and said, here, why don't we try this? And he gave us a couple of vocal parts. And, that's why the Beatles were so big, because he gave us the right vocal parts in the first try. It was exactly what the song needed. It was just magnificent. Yeah.
Well, it seems like you've been able to live through so many neat experiences. Let's go back to the book because I think this is a huge project for you. How has it been doing? And for people watching this morning, where can they get their copy?
It's doing great. It cleared all its expenses in the first 3 weeks. I've got almost 100% five-star reviews. I have fantastic reviews. People are being very, very kind. I think I have 2 or 3 4 stars, nothing below that.
What is next for Jimmy Ryan come 2022? Any big plans? Are you still performing? What's up?
I've left the performing world. I came on promoting The Hitman a couple of years ago on your show.
Yeah.
And we split up because of the pandemic and because our keyboard player has MS and he couldn't perform anymore. Our other keyboard player got an offer from Sesame Street to write for them. And the band just kind of fell apart because there were no gigs. All the gigs moved into 2022. So what I'd say about this is, you know, the 6 decades gives you an idea how old I am. I'm not a 20-year-old who wants to get in a van with the equipment in the back and drive 700 miles to the next gig.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if the Rolling Stones call me up and say, we need another guitar player, we'll pick you up. I'm there. You know, that's fine.
You are there.
Anything less than that. So I'll probably write another book, and I have no idea what, because how many autobiographies can you write? But I'm sure there's some stories that I didn't tell.
Behind Autobiography of a Musical Shapeshifter. Now you can buy it everywhere on Amazon, wherever it is that you buy books. Jimmy, you still look great. And you know what? Artistry, that rush of performing never leaves you. So we may see you back on the stage soon.
I love it.
And by the way, Jimmy did say he does music collaborations here on NBC. And to learn more about Jimmy, visit rampagemusic.com. You can find Behind Autobiography of a Musical Shapeshifter on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble.